Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. National Investigation Agency gets 18-day remand of 2611 mastermind Tahawwur Rana to interrogate him in order to unravel the complete conspiracy behind the deadly attacks. President Draupadi Murmu addresses Indian diaspora in Slovakia, highlights growing cultural ties, conferred with honorary doctorate in Slovakia. Technical consultations between the US and Ukraine on a mineral deal to begin in Washington. Talks aimed at aligning both nations on long-term investment mechanisms reflecting shared strategic interest. And US talks further down as trade war with China deepens. Tariffs imposed on Chinese goods stand at 145%. Trump acknowledges transition problems with tariff plans. News in detail now. A Delhi court on Friday sent Tahawwur Rana to 18-day National Investigation Agency custody hours after he was extradited from the US. Rana played a key role in plotting the 2008 terror attack on Mumbai that claimed 166 lives. Was arrested by NIA on Thursday after his arrival from the US on a special flight. He was produced before a special NIA judge, Chandrajit Singh, who held an in-camera hearing on NIA counsel and special public prosecutor Narendra Man's plea for a 20-day remand. In a statement, NIA stated that the extradition finally came through after Rana's various litigations on appeals were rejected in the US courts, and for investigators, the challenge will be to get Rana to reveal more than what he has already told the US authorities. The US State Department on Thursday reiterated its commitment to combating global terrorism in collaboration with India after the US extradited Tahawwur Rana. During a press briefing, the US State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce stated that the US had consistently supported India's efforts to hold those responsible for the attacks accountable.
On April 9th, the United States extradited Tahawwur Rana to India to face justice for his role in planning the horrific 2008 Mumbai terrorist attacks. Some people watching may not remember these, but I encourage you to look them up and to find out exactly how horrible this was and the importance of this situation today. These attacks resulted in the tragic loss of 166 lives, including 6 Americans, that shocked the entire world. The United States has long supported India's efforts to ensure those responsible for these attacks are brought to justice. And as President Trump has said, the United States and India will continue to work together to combat the global scourge of terrorism.
And with an aim to boost infrastructure development, particularly enhancing road connectivity, Prime Minister Modi to visit the holy city of Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh today. During his visit, Prime Minister will lay the foundation stone and inaugurate various development projects worth over Rs 3,880 crore. PM will inaugurate and lay the foundation stone for various road projects in the region. Giving a boost to the electricity infrastructure, Prime Minister will inaugurate 2 transmission substations and associated transmission lines of adjoining districts of Varanasi division. In line with his vision to ensure education for all, Prime Minister will inaugurate key projects promoting sports infrastructure in the city. The Prime Minister will lay the foundation stone for a synthetic hockey turf with floodlights and spectator gallery at Uday Pratap College and a mini stadium at Shivpur. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also visit Madhya Pradesh on Friday. In line with his commitment to carry forward India's cultural and spiritual heritage, the Prime Minister will visit Anandpur Dham in Ashoknagar district of Madhya Pradesh.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is arriving on Friday at Sri Anandpur Dham, one of country's leading religious, spiritual and service institutions located in Ashoknagar, Madhya Pradesh. Here, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will offer flowers at Anand Sarovar located in the Sri Anandpur Dham complex. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be informed about the devotional and knowledge-related activities taking place in this dham as well as the service work being carried out. The Prime Minister will also visit the 4 temples located in Sri Anandpur Satsang Ashram complex. He will address the followers of this dham from India and abroad in the annual fair organized on Vaisakhi in a stage program in the huge Satsang hall. He will also take prasad in the langar spread over 315 hectares. The temple has modern Gaushala with over 500 cows and agricultural activities are conducted under the Sri Anandpur Trust premises. The trust is running a charitable hospital in Sukhpur village. Schools in Sukhpur and Anandpur have various satsang centers across the country.
हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री पहली बार आनंदपुर में आ रहे हैं। हमारे आनंदपुर का भी इससे नाम बढ़ेगा, लोगों में जाएगा, इससे देश में भी जाएगा और विदेश में भी आनंदपुर का नाम बढ़ेगा। इससे बहुत बड़ी खुशी है, हमें भी है, आनंदपुर वासियों को भी है, महात्माओं को भी है, सभी को बहुत खुशी है इससे।
काफ़ी खुश हैं महात्मा लोग, जहाँ के जितने भी हमारे आनंदपुर के भाई हैं, महात्मा जी हैं, वो इस देख के बहुत खुश हैं कि प्रधानमंत्री जी आ रहे हैं, कि हमारे यहाँ आनंदपुर में आ रहे हैं। आसपास के लोग भी मैंने देखा काफ़ी उनके भी अच्छा उनके विचार है कि प्रधानमंत्री जी आ रहे हैं, बड़े खुश हैं।
During this time, Prime Minister will meet the head Guru Maharaj Ji of Sri Paramhans Advaita sect and other saints and will get information about the service projects of Sri Anandpur Dham. About 20,000 devotees will participate in Vaisakhi fair at the Dham. It is worth mentioning that Sri Anandpur Satsang Ashram is a major center of devotion and knowledge. The spiritual energy of the temples here and the natural beauty of Sri Anand Sarovar provide peace to the mind. Aditya Srivastav, DD India.
And President of India Draupadi Murmu was conferred with the doctorate honoris causa degree by the Konstantin, the Philosopher University in Slovakia during a 2-day visit to the country. While addressing the Indian community, President highlighted the growing cultural ties between India and Slovakia. Her state visit to Slovakia laid emphasis on increased economic engagement between the two nations. She held one-to-one meeting and delegation-level talks with Slovak President Peter Pellegrini in Slovakia. Both leaders witnessed the exchange of 2 MOUs, one on cooperation in the field of MSMEs between NSIC and the Slovak Business Agency and another on diplomatic training cooperation between Sushma Swaraj Institute of Foreign Service and the Slovak Ministry of Foreign and European Affairs.
Two leaders also witnessed the exchange of 2 memoranda of understanding. One of the MOUs is between the Sushma Swaraj Foreign Service Institute of India and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Slovakia. The other one is regarding cooperation in the field of small and medium enterprises between the NSIDC and the business Slovakia.
And President Draupadi Murmu on day 2 of her Slovakia state visit interacted with Slovak children at a painting exhibition which was inspired by Indian themes and stories and saw a Ramayana puppet show in Bratislava. DD India's Jayanti Jha has more on this story from Bratislava.
The growing friendship between India and Slovakia can be seen in various dimensions like trade, diplomacy and sustainable development, and their historical links can be seen embodied in the cultural influence that India has in Slovakia. President Draupadi Murmu witnessed the influence of Indian heritage and tradition in Slovakia as she saw paintings by Slovak children depicting Indian themes.
People love Indian culture a lot in Slovakia. We have been embassy and there's a Slov-India friendship group. We have been organizing this painting competition and we give them, fables from Panchatantra and other Indian, stories and festivals. And based on that, they bring out their creativity, and you have seen how beautiful paintings they have made.
The 10th edition of the painting competition Beauty Hidden in Fairy Tales, India through the eyes of Slovak children, saw participation of 700 children from all over Slovakia.
Every year we translate some few Indian fairy tales, 2, 3, and then children from whole Slovakia are involved to welcome, to paint on the base of Indian fairy tales.
This is my painting. It's my interpretation of the fable of Kalidasa and the goddess Saraswati, and it's supposed to show how people are often much deeper than they look or than where their origin is from, and we shouldn't make assumptions just based on outside characteristics, because obviously people are much deeper than just what they look like.
I painted Gandhi, this picture right here. In the back we have like people also, which is meant to show that like how much he helped others and like how much he tried to help those in need.
This story also shows that you don't need to be rich, powerful or strong, but what really matters is having a kind heart, and I believe that doing good things for others.
President Murmu's historic visit to Slovakia has highlighted an important aspect of the India-Slovak friendship, the close cultural ties shared between the two nations. You can see the Indian influence in Slovakia in their stories, in their art, in their spirituality and in their people. This opens the door for future people-to-people ties between the two nations. With camera person Loknath reporting from Bratislava for DD India, this is Jayanti Jha.
Italian Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister Antonio Tajani arrived in India. On Friday, he'll meet President Draupadi Murmu to boost bilateral ties. He will hold separate meetings with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal. India's top XR innovators were crowned at the XR Creator Hackathon, part of the Create in India Challenge Season 1 under the World Audio Visual and Entertainment Summit Waves. Over 2,200 participants from across India, including 66% from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, 5 standout teams emerged winners across themes like healthcare, education and immersive tourism. Supported by Wave Labs and the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, these creators will now showcase their solutions at Waves 2025 in Mumbai. The event signals a bold leap for India's digital future in extended reality, blending creativity with transformative tech. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. 6 killed as tourist helicopter crashes into New York City's Hudson River. Death toll in Dominican nightclub disaster rises to 218. And Tesla launches in Saudi Arabia amid Chinese competition and tumbling sales.
Even small shifts can make a big difference. Whether it's the way we commute, what we eat, or the way we power our lives. What can we do today to ensure a greener and more inclusive tomorrow?
The pollution control starts from the procurement of the fuel. So we go for low sulfur and low ash coal.
First step is towards creating a safe, comfortable and risk-free access strips, which is walking.
There are ways in which you can make journeys smoother, more punctual, more reliable by improving, say, signalling, giving bus priority.
The farmers' organization offers them a standard price. When all the farmers are paid the same, you can really see the impact on their lives.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Next round of Ukraine-US talks over minerals deal will begin in Washington on Friday. Talks are aimed at aligning both nations on long-term investment mechanisms reflecting shared strategic interest. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Wednesday that the talks would focus on technical aspects and foundations of future agreement. He added that the minerals deal with the US should be profitable for both sides and could be structured in a way that would help modernize Ukraine. He informed that the Ukraine's delegation would be headed by a deputy Economy Minister. While Trump is seeking a bilateral minerals deal as part of a peace rush to end Russia's conflict in Ukraine, he also sees it as a way to recover billions of dollars spent on military assistance to Kiev, though the aid was not alone. Meanwhile, UK is considering deploying troops to Ukraine for 5 years under plans being discussed by allies. Reportedly, under the plan, one of a number of options on the table, a European-led force would be dispatched to Ukraine to initially deter Russia from breaching any settlement and to offer Kiev's men some much-needed respite. Britain had earlier said that a significant number of countries are willing to provide peacekeeping troops in Ukraine in the event of a peace deal with Russia. The US President Donald Trump's trade war rattled global markets anew on Thursday as stocks and oil prices sank amid fears China may once again respond in kind with high tariffs to match the latest levies imposed by the United States. Hours after markets opened, the White House said US tariffs on China stand at 145%, more than 125% levy that had been widely reported a day earlier. The news sent shares falling further than they had earlier in that day. However, on Wednesday, the president announced a 90-day halt in higher duties for dozens of countries. But Trump has also doubled down by raising new tariffs on Chinese imports to 125%. Meanwhile, Trump said that he would love to get a deal with China to end an escalating trade war. The remarks were made by Trump at a press open cabinet meeting. During the meeting, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent stated that more trade policy predictability would result from the agreements they reach with nations.
What happens with China? We would love to be able to work a deal. They've really taken advantage of our country for a long period of time. They've ripped us off beyond anybody, nobody. How people stood for it, sitting in my position, is not even believable. And we're talking about many presidents, not just a couple. But they did, and all we're doing is putting it back in shape. We're resetting the table. And I'm sure that we'll be able to get along very well. I have great respect for President Xi. He's been, in a true sense, he's been a friend of mine for a long period of time. And I think that we'll end up working out something that's very good for both countries. I look forward to it.
And President Donald Trump also predicted that there would be a transition cost and transition problems while discussing his tariff policies during a cabinet meeting. The president also claimed that the U.S. was raking in billions of dollars each day as a result of his protectionist policies.
We're doing very well. It's been amazing. We had a big day yesterday. There'll always be transition difficulty, but we had in history, it was the biggest day in history. The markets. Again, there'll be a transition cost and transition problems, but in the end, it's going to be a beautiful thing.
And accusing Mexico of breaking an 81-year-old treaty and stealing the water from Texas farmers, U.S. President Donald Trump threatened Mexico with sanctions and tariffs in a dispute over water sharing between the two countries. Under the 1944 treaty, Mexico must send 1.75 million acre-feet of water to the U.S. from the Rio Grande through a network of interconnected dams and reservoirs every 5 years. An acre-foot of water is enough to fill about half an Olympic-sized swimming pool. The current 5-year cycle is up in October, but Mexico has sent less than 30% of the required water. Meanwhile, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum in response said that Mexico has been complying with the treaty to the extent water is available amid 3 years of drought. Mexico sent a proposal to U.S. officials to address the water supply to Texas, which includes short-term actions. Meanwhile, a day after Trump abruptly paused the heavy tariffs against dozens of U.S. trading partners, the U.S. president held a cabinet meeting where he stressed his administration's transparency. Besides tariffs, he offered update on Panama a day after the two nations announced agreements to deepen U.S. military training in the Central American nation.
We've moved a lot of troops to Panama and filled up some areas that we used to have and we didn't have any longer, but we have them now. And I think it's in very good control. Right?
U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, in the first visit by a Pentagon chief to Panama in decades, said he sees the canal as key terrain that Panama would secure together with the U.S. and not with China. While Panama had said the United States recognized its sovereignty over the Panama Canal despite tough rhetoric from Washington. A tourist helicopter crashed into New York City's Hudson River on Thursday, killing all 6 aboard, including 3 children. The victims were believed to have included a family from Spain and the pilot. The Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board will investigate, with the NTSB leading the investigation. The airspace around Manhattan is crowded, with helicopters offering tourists a bird's-eye view of the sites, with at least 24 operators listed on the website IATA. Many of the operators also offer helicopter shuttle services to the area airports. U.S. President Donald Trump called the crash terrible in a post on Truth Social. He said the footage of the accident is horrendous. God bless the families and friends of the victims. Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy and his talented staff are on it. Updates now on the devastating roof collapse at a popular nightclub in the capital of Dominican Republic on Tuesday. The death toll in the accident has risen to 218, with the head of the country's emergency operations center saying that there was still one area to be searched and that 189 have been rescued. The nightclub collapsed on April 8 and families have been gathering outside the wreckage of the Jet Set Club in Santo Domingo, anxious for information about their missing relatives. The tragedy unfolded during a concert which had drawn politicians, athletes and other prominent figures, turned into a nightmare after midnight as a roof suddenly collapsed. As the global sales of Tesla continues to fall, the electric vehicle company owned by billionaire Elon Musk opened its first showrooms in oil-rich Saudi Arabia, where hybrid cars remain a rare sight. The opening of showrooms in the capital Riyadh, Jeddah and Dammam showrooms in the United States have been attacked reportedly because of links between Musk, the world's richest person, and U.S. President Donald Trump. The company's share price has slumped since Musk started working with the U.S. government. Saudi Arabia is a key regional U.S. ally, and Trump forged close ties during his first term with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who has promised to inject $600 billion into U.S. trade and investments. Mainly young Saudis gather to look at the Tesla cars, even though demand for electric vehicles is low in Saudi Arabia. Sports updates now. We'll start with IPL. KL Rahul scored a measured 93 not out to guide Delhi Capitals to a 6-wicket victory against Royal Challengers Bengaluru on Thursday night. Chasing a modest 164, Delhi Capitals stuttered at the start, but Rahul produced a mature innings to help Delhi chase down the target successfully with 13 deliveries to spare with an unbeaten 93-run knock. Tristan Stubbs also played a crucial role with his 38 unbeaten from 23 balls. Veteran Bhuvneshwar Kumar bowled a tight spell of 4 overs, 2 for 26 for RCB, but they just did not have enough runs on the board. Earlier, Tim David's late 20-ball 37 and Phil Salt's fireworks had lifted a struggling Bengaluru to 163 for 7 in their 20 overs. Now, MS Dhoni is set to captain Chennai Super Kings in the Indian Premier League 2025 season after their skipper Ruturaj Gaikwad was ruled out due to injury. Gaikwad sustained a blow to his right forearm during the Super Kings' defeat against Rajasthan Royals on Sunday. Gaikwad suffered an elbow fracture and has been ruled out for the rest of the season, starting with CSK match on Friday against Kolkata Knight Riders. The injury is a major setback for the 5-time winners, who have lost 4 of their first 5 matches and sit 9th in the standings. With Gaikwad out, they lose a key figure in an already misfiring top order. Notably, he has been CSK's leading run scorer in 3 of the last 4 seasons. 43-year-old MS Dhoni will take charge as CSK skipper, reclaiming a role he has held for the majority of the franchise's storied history. And the Indian women's hockey team all set to tour Australia for a 5-match series scheduled from April 26th to May 4th. India will open the series with 2 matches against Australia A, followed by 3 encounters against the senior Australian team. All fixtures will be held at the Perth Hockey Stadium. The Indian team will look to build onto their recent momentum and continue their strong performances on the international stage. The tour will serve as vital preparation ahead of the European leg of the FIH Pro League, which kicks off in June. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.